It's very important to understand that everything has a grace period. That means there's a moment that something, whether a service or a product or an event, will flourish to a particular time, and then that season goes away. For example, let's say you are working and you're in a company whereby uh, they offer education, whether within or outside the country, or seminars or conferences which can build you up. When that offer is still there, jump and make the best of it. Because every offer that is there has its own timeline. Then that timeline is off. Because whoever could be the next person in management could scrap off that type of benefit. Then what happens? Will you start saying, if I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done that? Many people always say, when I get older, I'm going to do this project, that project, this project, that project. You forget one thing. With the way the world is going and the pressures of life and the things going on, who told you that you'll be able to access your money? Who told you that you'll be in a healthy position to be able to enjoy? So you enjoy now in that season to where you are at the time to where you are. It really doesn't matter whether you are living in a slum or a ghetto. For that season that you are there, make the best of it. Build friendship, build networks. As you grow and as God opens opportunities for you, some of the people whom you've met there, you may help them reach another level, or they may help you reach another level, or you may meet at another level. That's why sometimes people go back and say, "Hey, do you remember? Oh, do you remember?" Because there was a grace period for me the grace period that became a memory for you to hold close to you. Whether it's in a relationship, your partner, there's these things you can be able to do together, projects and everything. Do it. They might end up getting a job or be in a business whereby they're so busy trying to put one to two, three together. So that period that you guys have had to enjoy, that time together completely, you don't have it. Doesn't mean that you won't have the opportunities, but they won't be like they were before. And that's why sometimes as mankind we always go back and say, do you remember? Do you remember? Because at that time there was a grace period. It could be in a particular mall or supermarket or a company that's off or giving offers, and you like the particular product, either is a discount rate or anything. Get into it, get whatever you want and go, as long as there are products you're very keen about, because sometimes companies can do offers and discounts because that particular type of product they are selling is towards its expiry, or it has an issue and they want it off, or sometimes they just have a high stock and they need to reduce that stock, and because the holding stock is really messing up their annual budget, so sometimes they do that. So once you do your due diligence, get what you get, because that offer ends. You see, grace period is something people take very lightly and then end up saying, there's this chance I could have bought that land. There was this chance I could have gone and done ABCD education. Who are you going to blame? You're in campus or in college, you are young. Pursue your education, grow. There are all these online studies, free also, and those ones for paid. Do them. Because when you end up getting some type of jobs, you may not have the leeway to be able to further your education as you really need. Because by the time you're leaving work, you're coming, you're already exhausted. Or sadly, you may get into some of these relationships whereby your partner then says, "Hey, I don't want you to have ABCD, I'm providing. Is your problem money? Money is there." Sadly, if you get into those ones, God help you, because once you are fully reliant on a partner, you're cooked, you're screwed, you're finished, because that individual will do whatever they want to do, however they want to do to you, and there's nothing you can do. Where will you run? Your family. So it really depends. If you're not someone who has stood on your ground keenly, you have to be very careful. Grace period, don't assume. Don't assume these moments and these precious moments that God has granted you, wherever it may be. A grace period is something you should take very, very, very seriously. Just like offers, an offer runs for a particular timeline, then it's gone. A discount has this particular timeline, then it's taken away. Grace period. And it's so sad when God has given you so many opportunities in something, and you end up not being able to gain it or being able to grab it. Why? Because you are so busy doing other things when the time was already given. Even when you look at scripture, you look at Mary and Martha. When Jesus was talking, when Mary was complaining why Mary wasn't, helping her, and not allow Jesus Christ say, Mary knows what she's doing. Because she was busy listening at that time. She understood the season. And eventually, when our Lord Jesus Christ was gone and crucified and resurrected, the grace period was gone. There is a grace period when he was working with the disciples. That period was gone. The thing is, God gives us all opportunities wherever it may be. Wherever you are, wherever you are, there is an opportunity in whichever country or nation. Right now, we are in a time whereby banks just all of a sudden they're falling. And the most painful part is when they're falling, whether it's intended or unintended. That means there are other powers that are pushing their agendas. The thing is, the people who never get their money at the bottom line. The top investors, they always get their money, whether they'll even get it double the discount. But the people down there will never get their cash. And a time like this where banks are really, governments are really really stepping on their citizen. So you can't say now the way you're able to enjoy your X amount of money, then you'll enjoy. Right now, you can go on to remove your money and told, hey, you're sorry. You can see the money, but you're not removing the money. You have to wait until this, and you have to sign this document. I'm thinking, but that's my sweat. So that's where we are. It's your pension. They're telling you, we don't care. You're not our problem. Grace period. You have an opportunity to see your children grow. Make the best of it when they are young as they are grown. But when you start distancing from them and start treating them the way you feel like, that child whom you are mistreating, when they grow older, and if you're a parent or a sibling or a relative, that child will have no connection. They'll just cut you off. Why? Because the only memory they have of you is traumatic. So why would they waste their time? And then you see people start saying, oh, these young people, when they grow old, they forget their parents, they forget their relatives. Maybe we should go back and ask ourselves, what did you do actually for them to do that? And then people realize, when you had that chance, you are the bully. So there's so much of bullying that you can do until the times the bully gets bullied. Then you realize, oh, it's a Goliath and David situation, and David just gets with that slingshot, and you kaboom. Yeah, and nowadays people don't need to argue out. Nowadays you ghost yourself out of someone's life. You just go silent. And with technologies and with these apps, I know you have the section of do not disturb. We really use the do not disturb part of our accessories. So no one wants stress anymore. We already have enough pressure. And our body can't take all these pressures of life. So how am I going to be able to be sane in a world that's going cuckoos all of a sudden? I need my sanity. So if ABCD is going to be my pressure levels, my toxicity levels, I'm going to walk away from it and I'm going to find my way around it. So grace period is so something you should never assume. Relationship, you are there, you're with someone, you are a professional cheater, you are a professional, abusive person. A period is going to come when that person whom you are kicking, you are doing all those things, will turn the tables around. Then you realize, oh, and if you even go to the extreme and even take their life, you'll be locked up. So every time for whatever X amount of years you're locked up, you'll be remembering, all I had to do was never to do this nonsense. We're going to pay for it. What did you think when you're taking someone's life? You say, hey, I'm going to take out this child. I slept with so and so. You know what? It's easy. That memory of that little child removed from your womb will never leave. You'll never forget the day, the date, the place, the where, the when, and the why. That's a trauma for life. No matter how much you've healed from it, as you may believe, that trauma never ends. So everything and every choice we make, we should be very keen and careful where we are. All this freedom of expression, freedom of this. Today you're in this country, tomorrow you're in another country. Do you think you can speak the same way when you go to another country? No. You have to understand the culture of that country, the do's and don'ts of that country, to be aligned with that country. Or else, if you go against that particular country to which they have hosted you, they will teach you a lesson. Because nobody wants a bad image. So nobody's going to tolerate a bad image in their home ground. So they won't say, oh, you're coming here, you're bringing your rules, your culture, your regulations, and you can't respect how we live. No worries, we have something for you. They will find a way to deal with you, and it will be horrible. So wherever you go, wherever you are, understand the grace period and use it wisely and discerning. Because today is not promised, tomorrow is not promised, this second we are in is not promised, nothing is promised. Today you may have rain, tomorrow you have um, you have you have a hurricane, you have a tornado, you have all kind of natural disasters. Right now you're speaking to someone, minutes later you are just busy doing your thing, social media, or you hear a short clip somewhere, ABCD person pass, you're thinking, why does that car look very familiar? Why does that bracelet look very familiar? I say, people now have very familiar, but why does it look so familiar? You make a call to this individual, realize, oh, they're not picking their calls. You make a follow through, they are gone. So you go back to what you had watched and like, what happened again? Then you do follow-ups and then realize they are gone. Right now, people are very suicidal because of depression. So someone can tell me, I'm thinking like going and thinking, people just say these things, it's what people say on social media and we still see them alive. Only for you to actually realize they're actually gone. So make the best of every moment where you are, with who you are around. Today you may have it all, tomorrow you won't. Jacob, at the time, he had this grace period, enjoying being someone who enjoyed the riches under his father. Later, 20 years later, he was a servant under Laban, his uncle. Joseph was the one who was telling his brothers, you move left, you move right. Years later, he was a servant under Potiphar, and a slave and a servant under Potiphar, and also in the prison. You see, the thing is, we really don't know what's going to happen now, today, tomorrow. At a time whereby countries wake up and they decide they just don't want another country, either because there's a particular resource they need and they know they can't get it the right way, so they need to wipe out a nation. Whether they choose to use proxy agents or whatever it may be, the fact is they'll do whatever they want to do and they'll come up with whatever theories and everything. And right now, where we are, government don't really care about your opinion. They lie to you, they're giving you a care about your opinion, but really don't care about your opinion. They'll still do it. We live in a time whereby you'll hear from a government saying, we are going to do ABCD. And sadly, many citizens take the lie and run with it and think, yeah, we can. No, when a government tells you they are planning to do something, I'm sorry, they already did it. They're just letting you know, we've done it, but we'll make you look like we are doing it. But they already did it, they've done it, they've finished, they moved on. You are there still thinking, my opinion matters. Not really. Just like when you vote, you're like, oh, I know I'm voting. No, people are selected for a particular season. 3/4 of all these leaders are already selected. And that's why you wonder, how comes they do campaigns that cost millions of money, but their salary does not add up with the money they used in their campaign? So what happens? And then you start realizing some funny bills and laws and policies are passed in your country. You need to go back to who was funding this person, the kind of companies, because what happens with lobbyists, if let's say a particular multinational wants an interest with your country in a particular resource, they will look for who is a potential person for particular leadership, grassroots level, it doesn't really matter. Then they'll find what do they need, and then they'll befriend them, and then they'll employ people who are close to this person, and then so they want to make it so familiar, and then they'll sign off dotted lines. You think these people will even know they're signing off, and then they give them everything, and they tell me, hey, remember this, we're going to help you, get to this position whichever way you want it. We can use the easy way, the hard way, but we will work in the shadows. We'll get it done. However, once you get into power, we need you to pass ABCD policies and laws. We want to be the monopoly. We are not asking you. You've already eaten our money. So get it done. And so a leader will get into power. They won't do it immediately. They'll look at the environment, play around, pay some content creators here and there, celebrities here and there, use a lot of competition among one another, controlled opposition and all that games. And then they pass the bills, they pass the laws. And then you're thinking, when did that happen? It happened from the day they were campaigning. You see, we always see the after effect, But these things are done way long ago. And they'll make sure, and if that person, you see, the thing is, they've already employed their family members. They have even put them in vulnerable situations. So they do have some imagery and some things. Let's say if somebody even ordered a hit on someone, they're like, we kind of have the conversations. They have enough blackmail to put you 100 feet under. That's why you should never take some deals, because at the end of the day, it wipes out your generation. So grace period is something you shouldn't assume, because now assume such a person has taken power, who has been really compromised. Do not be surprised when the tax go up. Do not be surprised when the extrajudicial killings. Do not be surprised when laws are passed that really press on people from every corner. It's because of the people behind the scenes whom this person made deals with. And not every politician is compromised. Never. However, 80%, 85% are compromised. And that's why you always wonder, why do you always see the same rules applied to a particular type of people and others it doesn't? The games being played are beyond your imagination. You should be very keen and careful of the life you live. Take care of yourself. Love yourself enough. Enjoy. Do what you can that is healthy, that won't put you in problems. Treat people with respect. Love genuinely. Act genuinely. Let your intentions be pure and genuine. And do your thing. And even if you fall a victim to people who have taken advantage of you, it's okay. You know what you did? You learned a lesson. You are once nice, now you'll not be nice next time. You'll be kind, but you won't be nice. So grace period is and then God watches. And you see, there are people who can be around you, but could be a reason for you not to reach where you're supposed to reach. Abraham had Terah, and had Lot. Those two would have affected his journey. And so both were taken out of the equation. Terah never made it. And when you look at Lot, him himself, he just went off the rail. The thing is, you look at Joseph and his brothers, they had to be separated despite the painful circumstances. The thing is, if God has a plan for you, whether you like it or not, you must be separated. Why? Because the one who carries the vision has a lot of wars behind them. And until they put the vision into place and have other people to continue on the vision, we should be very careful of the lives we live, the words we utter, the actions, things we watch and listen to. You might think you're smart today. You might think, I can get away with it, but not for too long. People assume this grace period. You get married, you find someone who has no issues and everything, and then social media start to tell you how you should live your life and everything, and then you pick all the wrong types of information, then you implement them into your marriage, and then you find the person decides to just ghost you once, and then you'll be the same person going back to the same social media, crying, oh, I did mistakes. People are like, oh, wow, now you're a motivational speaker. Wow, what happened when you are busy being granted by his brother in a particular place, in your matrimonial home? The thing is, there is a grace period for anything and everything. You go to a faith institution, and you have your preachers and the people are assuming, these people will come A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. But you don't do anything to invest. You don't build them up. You are busy manipulating, taking Bible out of context, scriptures out of context. Don't worry. Your time is coming when people realize, why are you even giving this person airtime again? Why are you even listening to this person when there are so many other people? You see, right now, you cannot come and say that whatever product or whatever service or content you have is the best. You know why? Because there are other men and women, young and old, producing the same thing 10 times better than you. And now people have actually more options to play around with. We always complain about social media. And this is the interesting grace period with the social media. You can use it to your advantage to build content, to share your product, to sell your products and service that could help build. Yes, as usual, we are always going to have the other types of content that really you wonder what's going on. but it's a market. If you are witnessing there's a lot of negativity thrown in that social, maybe you should be the positive person into now that some social media arena, giving out positive content, cancelling out what the negative is flowing. Remember, the person who makes the noise the most, everybody is listening. Where is this noise coming from? When you're too silent, nobody notices. So if they're making their voice out there and sharing all the wrong information, maybe you should start also being in not one but several platforms, giving the right information. Then people have options. Each one of us has a product, has a service, and has content. It's a matter of when, how, and why you place your part in it. So the grace period is here. But just like an offer, just like a discount, it has its time to end. And not everything has a warranty. So make the best when you still have the chance. Nothing is guaranteed. Not today, not tomorrow, not now. So make the best of the grace period that God has granted you when the chance is still there, because it won't take for long. Grace period, we assume it, we procrastinate until it becomes a memory of, it's gone. Yeah, it is gone. Because when God gave you that chance, you are busy doing other things, and at that time, you couldn't. So if it's your time to get into education, you are young, do your books, learn. Don't jump into relationships saying, you know what, I need this as a complementary. Trust me, relationships only drain you because you now have to adjust to another individual with other cult from another background. Only God knows. And relationships can take you 6 feet under than you thought. It has made the brightest minds become the craziest people out here. The thing is, if it's your time to study, study. If it's your time to be in a relationship, make the best of it. If it's your marriage, build your foundation. If it's business, have your partnership, build networks beyond networks. Whatever it is that God has granted you at that point and at that season, make the best of it. Because when that grace period is gone, you wish you could adjust things, but you can't. When the train leaves the station, it leaves. When the plane leaves the airport, it's gone. You can't say media, no, it's gone, it's gone. So make the best of the grace period that God has granted you. Today is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Now is not promised. This second is not promised. Everything is under God's grace and mercy. May God guide us all to utilize our time well and utilize the times and seasons to which is granted us. God be with you.